What's the most realistic cat noise that you can do? That's really good.
It's my graduation, so on to education. Didn't learn a thing anyway.
When I was a little child, I remember I had this little blonde Australian friend called Callum that used to strictly game, go on 4chan, and be a degenerate. We're probably like 6 years old. He should not have been on that website. And his parents were super Euro rave kids. Looking back on it now, they were adults to me then, but they were like in their early 20s. Dad was Polish, his mum was Australian. And they had all these dance CDs that we would pop into their CD player. I remember closing my eyes as a kid and just imagining the club. To me, it was a scene from Blade, or like the thing in The Matrix, dark rooms that only adults were allowed to go into, and they'd be wearing leather and spandex and PVC, and they'd have mohawks and tongue piercings, and they'd just be like dancing the night away. Imagining stimulation from your bedroom is kind of what Hyperpop is all about. So, I'm gonna be your professor for today. If you need knowledge, look to me. First, I'm gonna close my door. Give me a sec. I don't think I'm like Anthony Fantano. I'm gonna try my best to not spit out loads of words about subgenres that don't mean anything or make sense. At the same time, that I might. We'll see, okay? I don't pertain to be an expert on anything. I don't give a fuck. But people are debating what Hyperpop is. People are confused about Hyperpop. Let's have a look at the PC Music subreddit. What is Hyperpop even now? Since literally everyone calls everything Hyperpop, I can't say myself what Hyperpop even is. I know Product by Sophie is Hyperpop, and I guess PC Music Volume 1 and 2, even though I think it's more bubblegum based, because it's slowly starting to get confusing, like what else is it? What is you know? Hyperpop is the friends we made along the way. Hyperpop is now what bitches do when they need to simultaneously garner gay fan and make themselves look more interesting via songs that sound like soulless versions of Sophie, A.G. Cook, and Danny Hall. Somebody's pissed. Hyperpop is not a genre, it's an audience. Hyperpop is dead, long live the Eurodance. Hyperpop is the hole we tried to fill. I like this comment. It's confusing because Hyperpop was kind of never a genre. It was a term created by Spotify in order for them to group certain artists together for a playlist. As always, when something goes from the club or the Discord server into modern popular consciousness, it gets a label eventually that brands can use. Who knows what New Wave was called? They were listening to it in clubs for the first time. We don't know. You weren't there, I wasn't there, we're not cool, nobody's cool, just accept it. That's life. Except I kind of was there. Let me take you through what I was there for and what I wasn't. I made a slideshow. It's not very good. Hyperpop. What is it? What does it mean? Who is it? Where did it start? Okay, let's start with the world before. Pre-Hyperpop. Okay, just like Little Susie in 2006, listening to CDs. Where Hyperpop really begins is with the Europop, Eurotrash, happy hardcore genre bubble. Hyperpop is European as fuck. Maybe also a little Japanese. While Americans were making techno, Europeans were making hyper-ironic versions of American things. As you can see here, this guy's dressed as a US soldier for a reason. A gay little version of a US soldier anyway. This is the Venga Boys, who did We Like to Party. And then there was Bass Hunter, who was a kind of a more serious poppy version of that. You know Dota, everybody knows that song. We are going to listen to some Eurodance songs, bearing in mind that, like, this is going to be muted, so I won't talk too much over... Well, I'll talk to you guys, but, like, this isn't going on YouTube because, you know. But we can listen to it together. Twitch viewers can listen to it with me. Join me on Twitch. A classic. Darude Sandstorm. Everybody knows that shit. This genre is inspired by, like, very early techno. If this is the godfather to all hyperpop, techno is the ancestor. I remember back in the day, the reception of stuff like Bass Hunter, at least in the UK, was that it was incredibly cheesy club music for chads. Kind of was at the time. Like, it was very Chad, Stacey, Calvin Klein, and Cocaine, and Caviar, Nights Out. That's the kind of people that were listening to this stuff. They probably also would have crossed over with people who listened to, like, Swedish House Mafia. Whereas, like, people who would listen to things like the Venga Boys are probably also mainstream, but, like, kind of gay. Kind of your straight and your gay side. Which I think is such a concurrent theme in Hyperpop, is this battle between the straights and the gays on who created it. Next slide. 2000s pop. 2000s pop was a really weird time. You could even say, like, right up into the 2010s. It was kind of a cesspit. People often complained that music had died in the 2000s. People from the 70s and on, even, you know, in the 90s, they had grunge, and it was like rock and it was guitar music, or it was early hip hop, and then all of a sudden it all sort of collided into one thing in the 2000s when everyone kind of got the ability to bedroom produce, I would say, kind of started in the late 90s to early 2000s. Even then, you would still have had to have a lot of money for equipment. But you could kind of have all these artists around at your house, unofficially, on a slightly lower budget, just playing shit together and meeting up and playing shit together. And so cross-genre stuff starts to happen. Bubble Pop Electric by Gwen Stefani is a really, really good example. Any hyperpop origins that were happening in this genre were completely accidental. They were just trying to make something that sounded modern. They were just drizzling auto-tune on everything. And then, you know, sometimes they get like a guitarist from a rock band in and they'd be doing all these experimental techniques, but I wouldn't say that they would like have labeled it a new genre that they were creating or anything. Let's have a listen to Gwen Stefani's Bubble Pop Electric. It's made by a European guy. I think he's called Jan. Kind of bleeds into that Eurotrash thing. Also, a lot of Britney Spears' stuff was made by like a Swedish guy, I'm pretty sure. Slight EDM elements in production is a huge part of hyperpop. It's that mix of different synths, guitars, the guitar underneath almost seen, no doubt. The synth with like the bubble popping noises on top is just a very weird mix. This time it would have been considered kind of cross-genre. I think that people retroactively really started to like 2000s pop, but at first people really hated it. I mean, there was whole websites and fandoms, death metal guys and rock guys dedicated to hating early 2000s pop music. To be fair to them, like completely orchestrated industry plant life. It was the height of CDs being sold. And I remember kind of being infuriated myself with a lot of Justin Bieber's early songs in like 2010 when he came out, 2009. Baby. I hated Baby so much when I was younger because, I don't know, just watching other women girls viscerally go through puberty in front of you is so scary. And I felt with Justin Bieber it became so acceptable to talk about how scary and horny you were for him. It's just so frightening. It was a frightening time. Ugh. I knew girls, like, for One Direction, for example. It was insane. They'd wait in bins and shit for them to come out of the X Factor house. I never really got into that because I felt like it was kind of stalkercore. Maybe I also didn't think it was cool. Keep it a buck. Like, maybe I also didn't think it was cool to be into that kind of stuff at the time. And when I got older, I was like, you know what? I can actually kind of appreciate this. Justin Bieber has a great voice. He's a really talented musician. A lot of his songs really slap. And now I have, like, such a nostalgia factor. At the time, you have to remember, people hated these genres. And I think that almost spawned hyperpop in itself because when somebody hates something enough, somebody else loves it just as much, right? The vast hatred of this genre, I'm gonna sneeze. I feel like I just lost all of my memory. It's fine. I feel fine. Which brings me on to like my next favorite thing in the world. One day, these two Swedish guys invented this genre. The term Nightcore was first used in 2001 as a name for a school project by Norwegian DJ duo Thomas S. Nielsen and Stefan Ojala Söderholm. And it became very, very popular in the 2010s. First viral Nightcore videos was of Rockefeller Street in Estonia's 2011 Euro Song Contest. Estonia has the craziest connection to hyperpop. I don't know what it is about them. If you're from Estonia, holler at me in the comments. I would really be interested to know. Nordic countries and the Eastern Europeans with the hyperpops. Let's have a listen to that, because I've never heard this song, Rockefeller Street by Getta Jani. It's just like Cher Lloyd. The bow tie with spikes on it? That's top shot, baby. This is my favorite. My favorite. This song is so good on Beat Saber. This song makes me so happy. It also speamed? Oh my god, it speamed. It sparked? What the fuck? I didn't just say that. I'm gonna die. It also supposed I was gonna say that it like started a meme. It started a meme. It's not even that funny. I don't know why. Like giggles. I'm okay. Nothing good happened. I don't know why. Okay, stop. Stop it. It's just something so crazy about preparing a video essay. Fucking hour. And then when you try to talk about it, you start talking about sperm by accident. That's Nightcore. What was I trying to say? Is spurned? Then we have Witch House and New Rave and Electro clash, dude. These two genres, bro. It's like early Witch House and late Witch House. Late Witch House is like Cemetery, which is kind of cool, but like, it's definitely like the invasion of the barred out straight boys. Low-key, just before it was the invasion of the barred out gay boys. I don't know. Salem, super, super dope band. They have this amazing music video. This video is so cool. They go out and chase a storm, like in real life, a real storm. This is Witch House. I love Witch House as a genre. If you're someone who's into goth or synth pop or just things that make you feel moody and atmospheric. Witch House is amazing. Witch House started in Russia. I don't know who started it, but I know it started in Russia. Oh, it's so sick. If 11 from Stranger Things did drugs, this is the band that she would make. These guys are geniuses for this, low-key. What a cool fucking idea. Oh, we really need a music video that reminds us of a storm. Let's just go chase a fucking storm. Go chase a massive storm. So Western American-ass video. First it says you're testing my English skill with talking that fast. I'm sorry. It's been like, da, 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 da. New Rave and Electro Clash was what was happening in my country, in Britain, in the early 2010s. It was essentially our version of like hipsters. Basically like super bright colors, what we would now people are calling indie sleaze. It was a very English style. It was all like skinny jeans, top man, neon. People were going to the club, just living their best life. And it kind of mixed into scene aesthetics. I would say there's like some scene core elements. This is the Claxons. Here he's wearing some kind of neon orange. I'm gonna lose my mind. Suspenders. Oh my god. Suspenders. The skinny jeans, white skinny jeans. New Rave also took its influence from New Wave. Like New Rave and New Wave, this was basically people who would have been young when like New Wave was kind of ending, or their parents would have listened to New Wave and they would have grown up being like, New Wave and the 80s is cool and you want to do that and have that kind of style. Where that inspiration would have come from like an old perspective. And then from a new perspective, they're looking at things like scene core, nightcore, electronic music. There's lots of long-running MIDI synths, and I would say video game sounds as well. This was the era of like Pokemon and Pikachu, and like just there's this like, you know, that was like the whole thing that was going down. I would say MGMT kind of fall into this category. They're great. Obviously, everyone knows who they are. Kids, I would say that was like one of the best, most successful parts of the genre. I would say also there are some grime influences in it. That was also kind of going on at the same time in clubs. This song's cool. Look at her twee ass, dude. She got the bonnet. She's a little artiste. She got the side micro fringe, dude. You couldn't make her up. She is 2010s hipster, you know? So everyone say thank you, millennials, for all your horrible, horrible fashion choices now. I see the jeans over shirts, over dresses, over sweaters with hats that you guys are wearing, and I'm not impressed. Oh my god, the spiked jewelry. That's how you know, bro. That's how you know she needs this stuff. You think she can go to the club and have any level of hipster credibility without fucking eyeballs all over her and fucking charms, Lucky Charms all over her bag? The girls will laugh at her. The girls will spit on her for like not being twee enough. Look at that strawberry timepiece. Oh, she cut the jeans. She's the definition of twee. I'm gonna die. Oh my god, I'm gonna die. Okay, she's dyeing her hair in the bathroom. This woman is me right now. So that's a bold choice. That is a bold choice of thing to do in a public restroom in New York. But go off. I don't know how she's gonna get all that bleach off of her, mate. I wish I would dye my hair. Slade. Honestly, this makes me feel so happy. This was such a time of positivity, bro. Like, I can't even tell you, like, that millennial positivity, that people were kind of aware that they were going to be in loads of debt and that one day they wouldn't be even able to live in the places they were living, but, like, they also weren't. Like, they were, but, like, nobody really understood what that meant. You know what I mean? You can feel it in the colors of everything. I don't know, it was just a vibrant time. They were totally aware of the irony of what they were doing. At this point, they looked kitschy. That was the point. Kind of easy to understand at the moment because we're kind of doing that again. A lot of what we're doing now is very ironic culture, and hipster culture is all about irony. Let's listen to one more. Hadouken are awful, but like they kind of do define the genre. This was the whole fucking time period. Like this guy, the Dizzy Rascal bass. This is actually such a good example because it's like got all the elements. It's got a girl doing the new wave keyboard thing where she's playing like with one hand. Got the side fringe of the scene core. It's got the drum and bass like grime thing that was going on at the time. Kind of EDM aesthetic there. Vibrant colors in the background. Stop motion. It's very of its time. Hadouken, man. Even the name is like video game shit. New Wave makes me really nostalgic for a time when I was innocent. I'd say the bridge between New Wave and Witch House, Crystal Castles, still coming together now, right boys? If new rave is inspired by like happy new wave bands, Witch House and Crystal Castles and that side of Electro Clash was inspired by like Joy Division and New Order. Crystal Castles was the first ever gig that I saw. Alice Glass came out on stage with a bottle of Jack Daniels, and I was about 12 years old. It was a Latitude Festival. She crowd surfed, and then she punched some guy in the head, and then she screamed into the mic, and it was all like distorted because obviously like she had all the effects on her mic, and it was like, "If you touch me again like that, I'll punch you in the head." It was so cool, dude. She was like the coolest person I'd ever seen, I think. She was going through it. But was she still fucking sick? Yeah, Alice Glass is amazing. The story of this band is fucked, I will say. But that does not diminish her accomplishments at all. That was Ibu Baba Baba. Such classics as that. And also this. This was pioneering. But again, it has like the hyperpop because it has chopped vocals thing. And I want to make this very clear. This is what annoys me. It's like people are so confused about where it all came from, like what it all means, like, oh my god, like what came first, the chicken or the egg or the Salem or the Crystal Castle? Not all these things directly birthed each other. I was gonna make a family tree, which I did think about trying to do. I think it would be really complicated because I think these things all mesh, but like they don't necessarily come from one another. I'm sure you could put all of the bands that I've shown so far in a room and they just argue till the end of days. I never heard your shit. I wasn't inspired by you. I was inspired by this one Japanese video game dance song from 1999 that you never heard of. I ain't fucking scared of him. We've moved on from 2009 to 2010 into 2012 era. 2012 was like a great time for music, I think. Young Lean came around and he just changed music. I never actually heard his first song. I loved his aesthetic because it was so defined by Tumblr GIFs. This whole style of overlaying yourself, almost like a cut and paste on top with visuals. It was just so gifable. And at the time, that's how you could kind of like share aesthetics, was like through GIFs. I do think that this is where things get complicated. I see so many people who love to like get mad at me because they're like, Drain Gang and Cloud Rap have nothing to do with hyperpop. And I'm like, you're gonna tell me when you're wearing this fucking hat? I don't believe you. I don't believe you. I know. I understand why. That like sonically it doesn't have the hallmarks of the genres that I've explained so far. But what it does have is the aesthetics. It has a lot of the aesthetics of Witch House mixed with like Tumblr aesthetics that were kind of born out of like the 2010s hipster movements. And also it has this modern dreamy feeling. Although I will say that it's obviously inspired by dreamy rap from the 90s, I would say. Just using like different samples from different places. Then Drain Gang came into the picture. I'm not bothered about Drain Gang really. I know that like so many people are gonna like come for me in the comments, and children that like Netspend are gonna be like, I do like Echo 2K. I can confidently talk about Echo 2K because I fuck with Echo 2K. A lot of the popular underground music now, this album was kind of like, oh my god, like this is the new thing. Echo 2K was part of Drain Gang, by the way, for anyone who doesn't know. I think it would be remiss for me to not at least mention Cloud Rap and mention Drain Gang, even though like the fans of these genres are annoying to me. They scare me. But Echo 2K is kind of a genius. If I was to give this anything, it'd be like a cousin of Witch House. And maybe like ethereal trance music. Alright, that's that. We'll stop on that. It's 2012, baby! It's the birth of hyperpop. At the time, hyperpop was called by one name and one name only, and that name was PC music. PC music, I will never forget the first time that I heard PC music, man. My friend came home, and he'd just been at a Tate late. And I want to say that it was like 2016. Maybe 15. Yeah, it was definitely before Trump was elected, so it must have been 2015. And he always knew, like, when something was going to pop off. Like, he was, like, really annoying at that. Like, I remember he found Odd Future when they had, like, one music video out. And he came home, and he was like, I just went to a Tate late and saw the future of pop music. And he was like, listen to this. Yeah, I love this song as well because, like, it had such a... I think I'd lost new ways to, like, do the British accent. You know, there was, like, Lily Allen and there was Blur. And everything else just sounded, like, weird, I'd say, to, like, international audiences. But... like, maybe the Arctic Monkeys as well, actually, were pretty, like... those were the three styles. And this was, like, a new way to sing in a British accent that didn't sound... it sounded modern. It sounded interesting, you know? It sounded cute. I knew immediately. Like, my mind went through all these steps in my head of, like, all this shit that was happening. And then, like, especially, like, this era. And, like, what they were trying to do with this era. And I was like... taking, like, hipster irony and you're using it in production. Taking... EDM techniques and you're applying it to mainstream sounds. Not scene core, not like fringe shit. You're applying it to like mainstream sounds. In fact, you're replacing the mainstream sounds. with completely stuff that like shouldn't exist. Do you know what I mean? I was really excited about this at the time. God, I can't even tell you. As you can see from my SoundCloud likes, I was in deep. Let's listen to some Daniel Hall. He was like one of the main producers at the time. I would say production-wise, the maximalism is mind-blowing because the time it would take to make this 3-minute track. Well, like these people were showing off, you know? That sound, that what? I would say that's the hallmark of real PC music. If you hear what? Like, that's some PC music shit right there, dude. If it sounds like a balloon gain consciousness, this song. You're probably thinking that this music's pretty abrasive. I mean, I can tell by the fact my viewership has dropped to half. That's the point of it. In this period of time, it was all about experimentation, and it was all about trying to make something listenable and unlistenable at the same time. Exactly the way you used to feel on the radios when you listen to like Justin Bieber's Baby. It's like almost too much, like doing it on purpose with irony. From Sophie's perspective, it was kind of even more passionate than that, I would say. She did this great interview where she talks about how she wanted to like play a piano. I'll just say it. Basically, she's like, I really want to know what it would have been like to like play a piano that's the size of a house. Like the way that she would like synthesize and think of things. So interesting to me. So she would literally sit there and make up sounds that were like beyond normal human comprehension. So genius of her. I think she's honestly responsible for a lot of why people turn on the radio, their heads blown off. At the time it was not called Hyperpop, it was called PC music. Artists started to like become confusing, I guess, to someone at Spotify, so they just labeled it Hyperpop. I don't know how the hell they came up with that. Not a bad name. I will say, like, it sums it up pretty well. I'm gonna play you some more of my favorites. Hannah Diamond, look at the eyebrows! 2016. AJ Cook is now, like, one of the biggest producers in the world. But at this point, he was just this dude who had started this label. I wouldn't necessarily say... Like, Sophie was bigger for years. Like, that's so 2010s. Benny Blanco core. I love it when they do that. They, like, pitch shift things. Usually, if someone pitch shifts something, they pitch it, shift it once, up to where it's at. Maybe for the intro they slow it down and they speed it up. Like that's as much as you get. These guys will go in on Melodyne and just play people's voices like EDM synths, and I love the sound of it. Like it sounds like angels, dude. That comment just said on the SoundCloud, it said it's like a pitch perfect college party. This guy is so underrated. I love Omu! GFOTY. I haven't even mentioned yet, this whole vibe was like a total being pissed at growing up in like a garbage pile of a capitalist culture. A lot of it was genuine commentary on having no choice but to enjoy trash. They're like born into it. Like celebrating it, sure, but like we're post-hipsterism now. Like the positivity is gone. Then later on, they started adopting more people. There was Kara Benito, who I think were just like friends with them. They did Flamingo, Tommy Cash. Tommy Cash kind of brings it back to Estonia. Which is kind of fun. He recently did this Eurovision piece that I feel like nobody got, but I thought was genius. Tommy Cash obviously knows the history of like Eurovision. That's why like Nightcore was popularized by an Estonian woman. And he made this song about materialism in Europe. I don't think anyone got what it was about. It's called Espresso Macchiato, and it's kind of a piss take of European celebrity, what Europe stands for now. And it's really good. And I think he should have won. But that's just my opinion. But I guess if you don't know the like weird, varied niche history of 7 different subgenres of irony, much like all meme culture, you're not gonna know why this is happening. But I thought it was cool. It honestly slays. I love Tommy Cash. He's the weirdest looking guy as well. He looks like he's from the 1400s. Just woke up in the modern day. I remember seeing like Americans reacting to this and they're like, I have no idea. It was like their first time ever seeing Eurovision, and I've never seen like groups of people more confused in my life. Like, that's so clever. He's talking about how much we smoke, how much we drink coffee over here, and we're like, we're so amazing, we smoke roll-ups, we drink coffee, but we're like obviously addicted to things, but obviously on very tight schedules. Europe's not getting any richer. Like, there's no need to be depressed, everything's fine in Europe. It's very cool. It says a lot about what the genre of hyperpop is actually about. It's about kids born into capitalism, like late capitalism. He's among the beans! Bro, he should have won. No one got it, but he should have won. It was so clever to perform that Eurovision. That was PC music. Sophie and AJ Cook, SoundCloud rap. Probably should have said that earlier. Digicore. We're on to Digicore. A lot of what's happening now. The channel Astari is a really good example of Digicore music. We first started by posting Little Peep. So as you can see, there is some relation to SoundCloud rap within the Digicore movement. They come up in the same scenes. I would say that the SoundCloud Rap Boys youngers are the Digicore guys. The Digicore guys that I've met in New York were very mad at me for saying that, but that's life. Get over it. You're on the same YouTube channel. That's your fucking big brother. Give people their flowers, you know what I'm saying? A lot of this music used to be called like Roblox core, and it started on like Discord servers in like the late 2010s. There's matching scenes for this in Japan. This is like the best video I could find to sum up the genre though. There is some levels of what I would call loser core to it, which is just the idea of being a big old loser. Sorry to Sebi. I really like Digicore. It took a while to grow on me, I'm not gonna lie. 23 at the time, but I was like, young whippersnappers were making the noise. And then I started listening to it and I started to really like the noise. This is about this nerdy dude who wants to play poker and fuck bitches. And that's like essentially the vibe of the whole genre. I kind of love him. He reminds me of like Sid from Skins. I think this video is a great example of what Digicore is. It's written for the 2020 crowd. This is written for people who grew up, gaming is mainstream now. So many people in online circles, people who are making like their first Discord kitten friends online. There's men pretending to be women, there's women pretending to be men. You don't know until you click that call button. And it's a crazy time. You're living in warehouse rooms with glowing lights, imagining the club. Like, that's Digicore. And then you got stuff like Capo, was in a popular Discord server at the time and used to stream. I don't know if he does anymore. I've hung out with him in Seattle a couple of times. He's a really talented artist, I would say. Oaf1 as well. But I think Oaf1 ended up getting cancelled for talking to like a 17-year-old when he was 18. Which, like, if that's true, like, it's a little crazy to me. That's fine. Perfect. Kids are fucking degenerates, bro. I mean, like, really. If Justin Bieber regularly sipped lean, that's the vibe of these kids, bro. Like, it's insane. Going to some of their gigs is crazy, though. They filled up New York, I remember, in, like, 2024, 23. The floor was breaking because so many people were jumping up and down. Borderline anorexic girls in cat hats were just losing their ever-loving mind. Kappa also got that Midwestern emo twang that I really just fuck with heavily. So that's Digicore. Now we're on to Assimilation, right? Charlie XCX. I would say 100 Gex to Charlie XCX, who was working with these people pretty early on, but like really started to work with them, making like vroom vroom, stuff like that. And I would say even past Charlie XCX now, it's probably gnarly. Once you get to K-pop, I'd say the Brat album too. We can officially say that the hyperpop genre has become just pop. I think that's why it's like so confusing to people. Can we call this genre hyperpop anymore, realistically, when it's now just popular music? People were disgusted by this song when it first came out, can I just say? Like, I really can't play too much of this because it's just gonna get muted. They have the Sophie like, what? Sound in this so often, which is like, this song. Once again, can I just say, this song is by this woman. And it's super much making fun of LA culture. It's making fun of hypercapitalism. I do read the chat. And I do appreciate you calling me princess. But right now, I am in the middle of class. It took me ages to go. This song again is like the Tommy Cash thing with Eurovision, where it's like making fun of capitalism. It's making fun of being a pop star and living your best life and being an influencer, and like, isn't everything just so gnarly? Then she throws her off the balcony. Obviously, it's ironic, right? She's making fun of like the kind of person that would make beats for another pop star and be like, this bitch sucks, and then throw her off a fucking balcony in Hollywood, because like, that's... People there be evil. It's in the water. Now the question is what happens next? Like, what is the future of hyperpop? Can there be any more hyperpop? How ironic can it be when the irony is dead? The irony is dead if it's in popular music. If K-pop artists are singing it, if little girls are going to concerts listening to it, if Brat Summer is started and over, what's the future of hyperpop? If you have any ideas about what you think it might be, I'd love to know them. Thank you for watching this. I hope that it was worth it. I hope that it was fun for you. It was very fun for me to make. It's nearly 2 hours long, so it's going to be hell to edit. Don't forget to like, don't forget to subscribe. I appreciate you all. Now I might play some video games.